Trouble at Magenta Rose, a behavioral consultation plan by Wynn Lieber, Taylor Cook, and Abby Fitzgerald. We wanted to include a character list to give a quick preview of the story that will unfold. First off, Gastony is the consultant that Adam contacted to help with the issues he's been having with his business. Adam is one of the consultees. He's the owner of the Magenta Rose restaurant, and he's frustrated that profits are down and that he has been losing customers due to a variety of reasons. Belinda is another consultee. She's the general manager at Magenta Rose, and she's upset that Adam is not very present or involved at work. Leon is a client. He is a part of the waitstaff and is considered unreliable and uncooperative, and he flirts with the employees and customers. Chet is another client. He is a cook at the restaurant with low work ethic and a complete disregard for his fellow employees and customers. Mrs. Pops is a client. She is the head cook with a pretty bad temper at times, but is respectful toward fellow workers and customers. Conrad is the last client. He is the assistant manager at Magenta Rose and avoids confrontation, allowing employees to do whatever they please without consequence. The consultee, Adam, owner of the restaurant Magenta Rose, has sought consultation due to some struggles within his business. He stated that the restaurant has been losing money for quite some time due to an assortment of reasons, including incorrect plating, slow and inadequate service, and both dissatisfied customers and employees. The initial interview was held at the restaurant with the general manager, Belinda. Although it was supposed to be held with Adam himself, he asked Belinda to step in last minute due to a claimed personal emergency. During the interview process, Belinda, another consultee, stated that there were quite a few issues that have led to some serious deficits within the restaurant. The first major issue being the owner, Adam. Belinda stated that Adam rarely watches his business, he visits him frequently, and does not seem invested in making it a functional establishment. He overlooks problematic behavior and does not respond well to any kind of constructive criticism. His overall lack of concern sets the stage for the issues happening at Magenta Rose. It was noted that the problematic behavior is causing quite a lot of strife within the restaurant and mainly focused on two individuals, Leon and Chet. Leon is part of the waitstaff and has been unreliable and uncooperative as an employee. He has been showing up late for his shift, having inappropriate relations with other staff members, and has been unwilling to change these habits despite many conversations with the general manager, Belinda. Chet, on the other hand, is a cook and the son of one of the most valued employees at the restaurant. While Chet's mother, Mrs. Pops, can have quite a bit of a temper sometimes, she is an excellent cook and is willing to work with the rest of the employees in a respectful manner. Chet, however, has low work ethic and a general disregard for his fellow employees as well as the customers. It has also been stated that there is an issue with the assistant manager, Conrad. He is unable to effectively lead the restaurant employees and avoids confrontation at all costs. Although he has immense potential, he is currently unable and unwilling to be an effective leader. Throughout the interview, Belinda seemed very irritated. She stated that the aforementioned issues are the reasons behind the lack of revenue, the falling clientele, as well as dissatisfaction throughout the ranks of the restaurant employees. Belinda has spoken to Adam on multiple occasions and was unable to hold a civil conversation with him. She stated that he goes into beast mode and there is no chance of resolution after that. In this case, it would be beneficial to use the systematic behavioral systems model of consultation. This model involves a consultant who is an expert in the field of systematic behavioral intervention, meaning that the consultant Gastony should be aware of the intertwined relationships and their effects on the individuals, as well as the environment within the system. The consultant also understands that every individual is surrounded by various systems, the microsystem, the mesosystem, the exosystem, and the macrosystem. The microsystem contains the people and environments that directly influence the individual, family, friends, work, home, etc. The mesosystem would incorporate the interrelations of multiple systems and the exosystem pertains to situations and environments that affect the individual but do not directly involve the individual. Lastly, the macrosystem involves environments that are generally multicultural related. This model involves collaboration between the clients, the consultee, and the consultant. The aim of this type of consultation is to resolve problems within a specific system using techniques and interventions that have been proven effective. The model is goal-oriented and proactive. It is used to establish preventative measures and has a specific process associated to more effectively gather data and create treatment plans and interventions that are applicable. This process includes identifying the problems at hand, analyzing the problems, forming an applicable treatment plan, and evaluation of the plan. It also involves forming specific objects and structuring the problem-solving process to fit the environment and situation at hand. Gastoni is expert within this realm and can effectively convey interventions to the consultee, who can in turn effectively convey these interventions to the clients. Gastoni, a consultant within the organizational behavioral system realm, understands how systems are intertwined and how they affect individuals on a multitude of levels. This ultimately affects those who are within the same environment as that individual, so this type of consultation must be aimed at changing the systematic issues. The consultation is not specifically just for one person or another, rather it is for an entire organization. It is based greatly on teamwork and collaboration and takes the entire structure to make the necessary changes. In this case, there are multiple types of assessments that can be used. There are a variety of personality tests or bias predictors that could benefit the establishment by providing meaningful data. This would also be useful in creating interventions specific to the problematic behaviors. The main goal of assessment within this realm would be to measure the behaviors of all involved. Gathering this data is vital in the consultation process. Diagnosing the situations and problems at hand assists in finding a resolution that is applicable within the particular environment. Using a personality test would be helpful to explain the behaviors of clients like Leon, Conrad, and Chet. This type of personality assessment may identify strengths and weaknesses of the individuals and provide a better overall understanding of each staff member. Perhaps in the findings, Adam can rearrange the responsibilities to better fit their strengths. It would also be beneficial to Adam to recognize the limitations of his staff so that he can structure his team accordingly. Another assessment that can be utilized is implementing customer surveys to gauge satisfaction levels. The surveys can be taken at the beginning of the consultation process and again after several weeks for a pre- and mid-consultation evaluation. This can be a way to determine if progress is being made with an increase in customer satisfaction and if consultation can then be terminated. The main source of data in this specific instance is structured interview with the staff and customers. This has provided the information necessary to establish the key issues that are currently causing the most conflict: loss of revenue due to inadequate work techniques, poor work ethic, inappropriate behaviors, lack of management, and poor customer service. Ultimately, the decline in business is the greatest reflection of internal management issues. In organizational behavioral systems consultation, a 4-step intervention process has been shown to be effective within the system. This process includes defining the problem, recording data through observation, creating a plan based on that data, and reinforcing desired behavior while punishing the undesired behavior. In this case, Gastoni created a treatment plan based on a plethora of data collected over the course of 1 week. Based on the data, the consultant Gastoni drafted a plan that included rewards based on sales made by the individual server, rewards based on timeliness and appropriateness, as well as rewards based on decent work ethic. On the opposite end of the spectrum, those who were lacking in work ethic, timeliness, and general appropriateness were given written warnings. When an individual receives 3 warnings without any signs of improvement, then he or she is considered eligible for termination. These particular interventions were drafted with Chet and Leon in mind, but were utilized within the restaurant as a whole. The consultant also issued a shift calendar which depicted when all staff, including the owner and managers, were expected to be on the premises. This intervention was specifically targeted at Adam, but again was beneficial for the restaurant as a whole. All staff agreed to the new plan, and a date was set for a month later for an evaluation of success. Prior to departing, the consultant gave a survey to all staff and customers regarding timeliness, appropriateness, and general work ethic. Much like the approach by Martins, DeGeneres, Red, and Magnuson, the consultant collected the data to use as a future comparison. The ultimate goal of these interventions being a more functional and satisfying dining environment. Gastonnet created a survey to be done by both staff as well as customers to gauge the degree of success of the implemented program. The consultant gathered the data and compared it to the survey given prior to the implementation of the program and found the program to be an immense success. After comparing the data, the consultant interviewed the staff members, as well as some customers, and found satisfaction and functionality of the system to be much greater. After the survey comparison and data collection, the consultant, Gastonnet, held a debriefing meeting with the consultees and clients. In this meeting, Gastonnet presented this survey data comparison, as well as the data from the interviews, both prior to intervention and after intervention. At the beginning of the consultation process, surveys were handed out to customers as well as to staff. The surveys were graded on a scale of 1 to 6 and encompassed all aspects of experience satisfaction. The average rating of the experience, in accordance with the surveys, was a 3 prior to interventions. The ultimate expectations post-intervention were a score of 5 or higher on the surveys. Adam and the rest of the Magenta Rose staff were satisfied with the outcome of the interventions as well as the surveys. Similar to the approach by Siegel, Brinkman, and Carlson, the consultant stated that there would be a 3-month check-in after the termination of services to ensure the effectiveness of training and the program itself. All members agreed with this plan of action, and a date was set for the final termination of services and follow-up. At the termination meeting, all staff were given surveys pertaining to the consultant, the interventions, and the outcome of services rendered. The data was collected, and based on the scores, the consultant was able to qualify the work done at the restaurant and with the staff as a success. There are a few possible ethical issues that could arise during this type of consultation. A consultant must be aware of the ramifications of sharing personal information with other staff members. A consultant must also be very aware of what is said about other employees, as well as the confidentiality guidelines stated in the consultation agreement. Another possible issue could be the result of interviews or assessments being leaked to others within the restaurant. This could be incredibly detrimental if not protected in the appropriate manner. The consulting agreement dated the 2nd day of July 2017 between Adam of 5678 Clepchin Way, Provincial Town, Illinois 62562, and Gastonnet of 1234 Bonjour Way, Provincial Town, Illinois 62562. Background. The client is of the opinion that the consultant has the necessary qualifications, experience, and abilities to provide consulting services to the client. The consultant is agreeable to providing such consulting services to the client on the terms and conditions set out in this agreement. In consideration of the matters described about and the mutual benefits and obligations set forth in this agreement, the receipt and sufficiency of which consideration is hereby acknowledged, the client and the consultant, individually the party and collectively the parties to this agreement, agree as follows. Services provided. The client hereby agrees the consultant to provide the client with the following consulting services. Behavioral consultation. The services will also include any other consulting tasks which the parties may agree upon. The consultant hereby agrees to provide such services to the client. Term of agreement. The term of this agreement will begin on the date of this agreement and will remain in full force and effect until the completion of the services, subject to earlier termination as provided in this agreement. The term of this agreement may be extended within the written consent of parties. In the event that either party breaches a material provision under this agreement, the non-defaulting party may terminate this agreement immediately and require the defaulting party to indemnify the non-defaulting party against all reasonable damages. Performance. The parties agree to do everything necessary to ensure that the terms of this agreement take effect. Currency. Except as otherwise provided in this agreement, all monetary amounts referred to in this agreement are in U.S. dollars. Compensation. The consultant will charge the client a flat rate of $200 for the services. The client will be invoiced when the services are complete. Invoices submitted by the consultant to the client are due within 30 days of the receipt. In the event that this agreement is terminated by the client prior to the completion of the services, but where the services have been partially performed, the consultant will be entitled to prorated payment of the compensation to the date of termination, provided that there has been no breach of contract on the part of the consultant. The compensation as stated in this agreement does not include sales tax or other applicable duties as may be required by law. Any sales tax and duties required by law will be charged to the client in addition to the compensation. Reimbursement of expenses. The consultant will be reimbursed from time to time for reasonable and necessary expenses incurred by the consultant in connection with providing the services. All expenses must be pre-approved by the client. Penalties for late payment. Any late payment will trigger a fee of 25% per month on the amount still owing. Confidentiality. Confidential information refers to any data or information relating to the business of the client which would reasonably be considered to be proprietary to the client, including, but not limited to, accounting records, business processes, and client records, and that is not generally known in the industry of the client, and where the release of that confidential information could reasonably be expected to cause harm to the client. The consultant agrees that they will not disclose, divulge, reveal, report, or use for any purpose a confidential information which the consultant has obtained, except as authorized by the client or as requested by law. The obligations of confidentiality will apply during the term of this agreement. All written and oral information and material disclosed or provided by the client to the consultant under this agreement is confidential information, regardless of whether it was provided before or after the date of this agreement, or how it was provided to the consultant.
Hi, Belinda. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in.
I didn't really have a choice. Adam kind of dumped it on me. Go figure.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Yeah, that's a regular occurrence.
Okay. So, what do you want to talk about? What are some of the reasons that you're seeking consultation right now?
Well, again, I'm not Adam, but I would assume it's because we're lacking customer service. We're losing money. We were having really terrible relationship issues with staff.
And you run the restaurant? Is that what the business is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm basically the general manager.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how is Adam connected to the restaurant then?
He's the owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he should probably be here.
Right.
More often than he is.
Okay. Like here, as in right now, or at
Just
the
in
restaurant?
general. In general, he's very rarely around.
Okay. How often do you think you'd say he comes to the restaurant?
Oh, maybe an hour or so a week. I mean, tops. It's very rare. Mhm.
Okay. Tell me what else is going on. Tell me.
Well, we're struggling, like I said, with staff. Yeah, I mean that's a big issue. A lot of communication problems and just general leadership issues.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is there anyone in particular that you feel like you don't get along with, or that you see has?
Well, there's Leon. Have you met Leon?
No, I haven't.
He's something special. Yeah. Yeah, he's something else. He's just incredibly unreliable. Has a great personality. Incredibly unreliable. Far too flirtatious with our other wait staff, not to mention some customers here and there. But yeah, he's kind of impulsive, and I feel like he's part of the reason why we're having some of these issues.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But when you say the word reliable, can you give me some examples or tell me more about that?
He doesn't really show up to work on time. He kind of leaves messes, doesn't do his side work very often. Just a lot of little things that equate to big issues.
And what's his role within the team?
He's wait staff. He's like a server.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't come on time, someone else is going to cover his
gets screwed
tables.
over ultimately. Yeah.
I see.
It irritates everybody.
And maybe there's like an unfairness factor if everybody else is coming. I mean, how does everyone else feel about the situation? Do they say
get
anything
frustrated
to you?
too. They get frustrated too. I think. Yeah. I'd say everyone else is in the same boat.
Are there any other issues you're seeing? Any other tension, or is this kind of like the main thing that you're?
I mean, like I said, there's a few relational issues we're having. I'd say another one is with our assistant manager, Conrad. Super nice guy. He lacks a lot of leadership abilities, though. He's dead scared of Adam. Dead scared of the owner, which makes it really difficult to, I guess, kind of do anything against the grain. I don't know if that makes sense, but
so he wants to follow the rules and doesn't want to get in trouble.
He's like a doormat. People know they can kind of take advantage of him. So they do. Yep.
And what's his relationship like with Leon then because of that?
Well, I'm certain Leon walks all over him. Definitely takes advantage, and I'm sure that Conrad is incredibly frustrated. Incredibly. There's not a whole lot of communication between, I guess, effective communication between the two of them. There's a lot of bickering and things of that nature.
And so, did you say what did you say Conrad's role was again with the staff?
Oh, he's the assistant manager.
Okay.
So it goes Adam, me, Conrad.
Okay. So really, you're looking to Conrad to kind of rein in whatever is happening on the floor.
Yeah, kind of.
He's kind of a buffer, maybe, between the customers and the staff.
We play different roles. While I'm more of a supervisor role, he's more of a like a floor manager. He takes care of the front of house, sometimes back of house, whatever needs done, and a lot of that involves communication and good leadership skills.
Sure. And you don't see that he's fitting that role very well, or his other anxieties are kind of
exactly. Yeah,
in the way.
I feel like he could, but I definitely feel like his issues with Adam as an authority figure, and his issues with, like I said, letting the other staff kind of walk all over him. Issues with confrontation. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
So do you think Adam knows all this? Have you ever really told him about these issues?
No, I've spoken to Adam about it a few times, but it always ends up Adam goes into this beast mode type thing, and it gets, he can get aggressive and kind of scary, and so people generally don't approach him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a general fear among the employees.
I think that's how he
towards
feels
him.
like he has to, assert his authority, maybe. And it works. I mean, for the most part, people listen to what he says, but again, it's not effective when you're never here.
And obviously, the restaurant's starting to pay for the lack of. What would you say is the lack of what at this point?
I'd say lack of leadership, lack of organization, communication, all kinds of stuff. And then you have employees like this Chet guy we have working for us. It's absolutely ridiculous. He gets away with murder.
Really?
Because his mom is one of the best cooks there is. She's a really valued employee, even though she's kind of a hothead sometimes too. But she's proved her worth over the years,
So is she like the one that's worked there the longest or something like that?
Yeah.
So she's pretty established.
And, her and Adam have a decent relationship. Not to say that she'll say anything against him or, to him in any, like, negative way. But, yeah, definitely Chet, because Chet is her son. Did I say that already?
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he gets away with murder because he is her son, and Adam really values Mrs. Pops. Chet's mom. So, yeah, it's something else.
That sounds really frustrating.
It's incredibly frustrating.
And you're trying to help make this run in a, a reasonable fashion. What are the responses you're getting from customers? Are you dealing with complaining and, are you having to help?
Frequently, just because Conrad hates confrontation so much that a lot of times it does make its way up to me. And I do, meals get plated wrong all the time by Chet because he's jacking around doing whatever he does because he knows he's not going to get fired. And then I know with our wait staff, like I said, they're either not on time or not paying attention, too busy flirting, whatever it may be, to actually serve the food before it gets cold. So we've had gobs of complaints and wasted money and everything else. So I definitely think the restaurant is having a rough go of it because of that.
Okay. There's a lot of pieces of information that you've given me. I can tell you're very stressed. What is your stress level right now, or how are you feeling about the situation? Like,
are we doing like a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure, and 10 being like ready to walk out, and
like currently, since we've been talking, I'm at like a 7.
Okay.
10 is walkout. I'm at a 7.
Okay.
As soon as I walk through the door, I go to automatic 7. I'd say.
Just anticipating issues, you can kind of see them coming. Gotcha. And what reasons do you think Adam didn't join us today? What do you think really is going on?
I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I think that he expects his restaurant to run more smoothly than it really does, or expects, I don't know what he expects, but whatever it is, it's not happening.
Yeah, it sounds like he's putting a lot of responsibility on you, and it's
but
not
I don't have a
working
whole lot of
anymore.
power or control or rapport with the staff, so it makes it a lot more difficult.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you came today, even though Adam didn't show up, and gave me this information, so I can work with my team of consultants to see what we can do to help. Okay. So, in the meantime, hang in there. We'll keep in touch and see what kind of steps and goals we can create, even to help you and support you, to hopefully see the restaurant come back again. It's a staple in the community. It's a great French restaurant that people enjoy, so we want to make sure that we, do what we can to help keep that business going. So,
all right.
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.